Yeah, you can do that. How you doing, Coach? How'd the kids run around for you today?
Not bad. What a day, huh?
Yeah, it's just a beautiful day outside.
Yeah, after that start where it was really, really hot, you've had reasonably comfortable weather. You got to like that.
You do. You get a lot done in that weather. Coaches always like a little bit of heat for conditioning, but this is just hot enough. Maybe just a little bit cool, but just hot enough where you get conditioning and good results.
Now, I'm not putting Tank Williams on a Ronnie Lott kind of career, but I think this what a bad blow. I mean, this thing just had to hit you right in the gut, didn't it?
Yeah, it does. It never makes it easy, even though it's part of the game. You hate to see that happen to good people and a bunch of good people. He worked hard to put himself in a position to compete.
We noticed some kids arrived here about 90 minutes ago. They were over on the field. We were checking them out. Undrafted rookies, free agents. Well, what type of players were they?
They're rookies. They're free agents. They've, in a lot of instances, been on other NFL teams, and Rick does a good job of keeping a list of guys on the street. What it does is it gives us a good inventory, gives us a mind's eye picture of those guys.
Is it tank insurance?
Yeah, I mean, you never want to get caught shorthanded in case you need somebody.
Any names we may recognize?
No, you know what? I'm not good enough to know those names. I know them as they're saying to me over there. I recognize a couple of faces, but I couldn't recite them to you chapter and verse.
Yeah.
Do you have people on this roster where you think you can get the physical presence at safety that maybe you could have gotten from Tank Williams? Talking about Willie Alford or a rookie like Greg Blue?
Yeah, we do. It's just a matter of training camp numbers, making sure you got somebody that you think can come in and compete, because I'm all about competition. You don't want to play short at that particular position.
I think one of the facets of your team that's flying under the radar a little bit is the special teams. And you know, in looking at years past, and I'm not exactly sure what you're going to do here, but guys like E.J. Henderson and Dontarius Thomas, they were very, very good at special teams. You lose Chavis and Williams, they were both good, but Winfield's also good. And in looking at guys like Cedric Griffin and Greg Blue, you know, again, I haven't seen them go through what you're installing right now, but from what I've heard and knowing how they played in college, I think you guys are going to have some good coverage teams.
Well, it's important, Paul, from the standpoint of the athletes in the defensive backfield that they're involved in special teams. They give you speed, they give you striking power. We always talk about four phases. If you're a backup, I'd like to see on all four phases of special teams. Same with linebackers, tight ends, fullbacks. You can't get enough of those kind of guys running down the field and making plays. Athletic guys that are striking.
Where are you having your most heated competitions right now? At what spot? Would it be linebacker?
Those guys are competing. I would say that. I wouldn't say they're competing. I like that group of guys. They go at each other. They push each other. They know they're all in the mix. They could all have a role, and they're striving to show up every day. And every day, one of them lifts his head.
Minnesota Vikings head coach Brad Childress is with PA in Dubay.
A lot of talk coming into this season, Brad, about the implementation of new systems on both sides of the ball, at least new systems for this team. How big of an advantage is it for you that your conduit for the implementation of this offense is a veteran quarterback in Brad Johnson, who's got familiarity and just a solid head for the game?
Well, you probably can't put a price figure on that. Number one, because of the 15 years he's been in the league. Number two, because he's been in a version of this system. Mm-hmm. And in 15 years, a version of this system, along with all the other football that he's gathered, is something where, oh yeah, I know that play.
Sure.
Everybody coaches a little bit differently, but it's not something that he's going to have to memorize.
Okay, but then it just comes down to getting used to new terminology for it? That this meant one thing one place and now this means something here?
Yeah, a short motion may be a zen in one place, it may be a zap in another place, and for us it may be an F short, flanker short. So just a matter of learning the verbiage.
Are you enjoying yourself as a head coach? Because, you know, I know you love to teach, and working under Andy, you were able to do a lot of different things, and emphasis on teaching and getting things ready for the game. Now you have to oversee a lot in the organization. Has that A, taken away from what you really love to do, teach, and B, are you enjoying yourself?
Well, I don't think you ever want to get very far away from the teaching aspect of it. Whether I'm involved in installation like last night, or whether I'm looking at a small thing on the practice field. And generally, not to interrupt the flow, I'm grabbing a guy with an aside. Hey, look at this, do this. And so you just kind of trickle that knowledge and next time see if they can implement a strategy.
I get the opinion from reading between the lines that you have been pleasantly surprised with Jermaine Wiggins. It's not that you disrespected him when you got here. Maybe you didn't know what to expect. But is that accurate? Have you been pleasantly surprised with him?
Well, he's a ball player, and regardless of how you feel, what he looks like, how he talks, that Boston accent, he's a good football player. And he has a feel for being able to create things. We always talk about having flexibility along the line that you're running. We don't want playbook line runners. He's able to interpret and have that flexibility within the route to be able to win himself open. And really, not that fast a guy, not that fleet, just a good feel.
And these tight ends are so important to what you want to do. I mean, Chad Lewis and L.J. Smith, they were so important to the Eagles offense.
Got to be able to work them in the field, no question, because they can legislate against those outside guys anytime they want to. You got to be able to spread around and work them in the field.
Yeah.
We've had conversations about the Tampa 2 or the cover 2, call it whatever you want, and how important it is to get pressure on the quarterback from your 4 down linemen. I mean, Knechu, Dez, Erasmus James on the outside. We're talking about first-round picks, a lot of potential, a lot of talent, but unproven. Are we going to see performance meet potential? And how important is it that it does?
Well, a couple things. First of all, I think people have strapped on to Tampa 2. That's where Mike comes from. That's Ronnie's famous defense with the Mike run down the middle. But I think, first of all, it's a little bit of a misnomer because people in the coaching profession, when you say Tampa 2, and you go through and you break it down, people are standing by the line of scrimmage a lot more than you think. John Lynch is standing down the box, he's standing outside, and so at that point it's not a Tampa 2, there's going to be a safety in the middle of the field. Everything starts out of their 2 shell. Everything starts out of their 2 shell. And then they're giving you a look at the last second. They're moving around, but they're playing with a guy in the middle of the field. They're playing man-to-man with a free safety. More than you would ever anticipate. So I guess you got to call it something. You're calling it Tampa 2, but as you watch that thing, look how much there's a safety playing in the middle of the field when the ball gets snapped.
Well,
Vikings Training Camp 2006.